Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 36 of Red Dirt and Stardust, a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition science fantasy pirate and Western campaign. Where last we left off, we met the newest party member replacing Velantrios, Adrien Derosiers. He joined in a combat encounter where Lyla ended up having to fight the now revealed Clara Sanderson, a mysterious figure from her past, somehow, some way. She fought them personally, attempting to cast spells such as Insect Plague and using cards of her own along with her card goblins that seemed to give the party quite a lot of trouble. Afterwards, they went back into the bar, which thankfully was unscathed by the fighting, and were met by Des, the owner of the general store, who came and told them that Chauncey had received a package and that Birdie was currently living there in Gertie's room while Gertie roomed here at the Salty Spittoon while she was having issues with her family due to her beginning to grow feathers, a fact that was revealed to the party by the real Virgil Buchanan before Jed threw him off of the ship into the astral sea. And so we begin there, as Des has just informed you that you have a package waiting for you, Chauncey. What would you all like to do?
I don't really know the town, so I guess I'm just gonna stick with these knuckleheads.
You're going to, just to be clear, follow strangers to go pick up a package that you just met in a bar fight? Just want to be
Such is the life of a D&D adventurer. You just
on the nose here.
You just stick with the other players. Or I guess I could just go to the bar and get drunk.
That's also a thing. I mean, I have a room here. You may want to think about maybe getting a room in town or something.
Okay, yeah, I'll get a room.
Remind me what Adrian's motivation was for coming to Drake's Ridge again.
So he is looking for a page that was taken from a really powerful book that his grandfather owns.
Right.
well,
And
your grandfather only owns pages of the book. The complete book has been cursed to never be complete again. So it's only a page or two.
right. And I guess somehow his investigation led him to this podunk town. And so yeah, he's gonna go to the tavern where Lyla lives and get a room.
All right. So while the other three are having this conversation with Des, Teddy, the bugbear, who seems to be running this bar, kind of just still setting bottles down, rearranging them after the quake from Jed's fireball did knock a few bottles off of the wall, so he is putting them back up and rearranging some bottles. Are you looking for another drink?
Perhaps in a moment. At the current moment, I was hoping to acquire a room.
We got some open. Luckily for you, it'll be about 1 gold a night around.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you were finished talking. Um, so that's perfectly fine.
All right. Here's the key. And you can pay at the start of the day if you want.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Should I just go now?
Yeah, if you got bags.
Okay. So there's like a really distracting constant beeping sound.
Oh, might be my Discord.
Sounds like a Discord notification. We're professional on this podcast.
Sorry.
Mhm.
It's not even open. I don't know why it's making sound. Is it my phone? No, it's definitely the computer. I don't even have.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to turn it off, but continue.
Um, I like to think, despite his upbringing, he packed rather lightly, so he just has like a bag with him full of clothes, and it's so he has a bag and he has clothes, but it's mostly full of books.
I'm not surprised. So yeah, you make your way upstairs with the key. And the rooms are smaller than you're used to. You're used to living the finer lifestyle with um all of these fine amenities, but this just seems to literally be the bed, a vanity, and a trunk at the end with maybe a wardrobe. If you're lucky, the room is pretty small.
One thing,
Um,
he did grow up on a farm, so this might be a little nostalgic for him.
yeah, but you haven't lived on that farm for quite a few years, so this is somewhat strange, but also somewhat nostalgic as you
Yeah.
kind of put your bag down and kind of take a breath looking at the room. So the rest of you, um, Des has just dropped this news. I'm not
Um,
quite sure what to make of this whole package deal. Uh, you usually get things like fabric and that kind of stuff, maybe some ceramics, but not like a personal package. This seems like a personal package.
I let's go take a look at it. Lila, do you want to come with, or are you going to stay here?
Oh, I'm terribly intrigued to see what's arrived in the post for you, darling.
I like to think at this point, like Jed's already snuck off probably to go talk to her. So yeah, Des, please take us to the let's go to the shop. How did it, I mean, I've been gone for a few weeks now. How did my stand do? Did it any sales?
Um, you had a few. I'd say about maybe I don't know. I'll have to count when we get back up. We made a sale or two. Some of your plush toys and a dress, but other than that, not very much.
Before
Um,
we leave the tavern, can I just have Lila do like a real quick, like, oh, and Adrien, if you do need anything around town, just come find us. We'll be down at the shop. Teddy can get you fixed up with the room, and she'll kind of do one of these little, and like I said, if you need anything, little wink before she goes out the door.
all right. So you all head up, and as you're walking along, Des kind of it was quite strange. The postman didn't deliver it. It was actually a rabbit in a vest that delivered it. I'm not quite sure what to make of it. It does seem to glow ever so slightly. I hope it's not like a one of the magic bombs or something like that. I know wizards can do all kinds of amazing things. Um,
Where did you put this glowing package?
I put it in the back, in the safest, most stable spot that I could find. I didn't want a glowing package just sitting out for anyone to look at. But also, in case something happened, I could walk around with it. So as far as I'm aware, it ain't a glyph of warden. But beyond that, I don't know what kind of magic could be on it.
Well, let's go find out. And as they're walking, Chauncey's pulling out of his bag of holding the like goggle set that he uses to cast detect magic and identify as rituals. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to start prepping the ritual cast for the 10 minutes to walk over there.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
There you have it.
So yep, you make your way into the shop. It seems that uh indeed, two of your plushies are missing. They are ones that were out for sale, and one of your dresses is gone. I'm not sure how much you charge for those.
Hmm. Let's look at what dress would cost in D&D? Fine clothes. What are the cost of fine clothes in D&D?
Yeah, because you,
40 or 50 gold, somewhere around there. Fine.
yeah, and then how much would I feel like a plush toy would cost somewhere between like 10 silver to 5 gold or something like that, depending on the size of the stuffed animal and what it is.
Oh, I'm in the wrong campaign. That's
Economics in D&D are fun.
why. I do remember
Um,
it said something like, because I remember from the courtesan background, I started with a set of fine. It said like set of fine clothes valued at, and I'm pretty sure that was 50 gold.
Okay, cool. So yeah, how about I'm gonna add we'll say 60 gold between the dress and the plush.
yeah, so
Here's the thing.
she
I feel like Dez is better at selling stuff than Chauncey is, and he'll typically sell it for lower.
yeah, so this is a little bit of a surprise getting this much from just the 2 stuffed animals and the dress.
Some people just have it.
But yeah, the shop does seem to be it's open, but not a lot of people are shopping for just general stuff. It seems it's died down quite a bit. So she comes out with this package. It is wrapped in sort of a greenish reflective paper, with some beautiful gold twine tying it closed. And it does say on the top on a label, to Chauncey and Company.
Do I recognize the hand?
Again?
I'm sorry, what?
Say that again. What is it? What did it say? You cut out for me for a second.
Oh, sorry. It says to Chauncey and Company.
Oh, okay.
Do I recognize the handwriting on the
No,
label?
you do not.
I'll cast detect magic.
There is a surprising amount of magic around this package. It is mostly transmutation magic.
Hmm.
However, it seems to be more of a bunch of smaller, I would say you would be able to pick this out. It's not just a single strong ambience of transmutation magic, it's a bunch of tiny little motes of transmutation magic inside of the box.
Okay. I will undo the box.
So you sort of undo the thread and you rip open the paper, and it is a beautiful wooden box. It's been lacquered, it's been carved with leaves and things of that nature. The lacquer has a slight greenish tint to it. And as you open it up, inside are a bunch of items with an envelope on top, this beautiful phthalo green envelope with a wax seal, and the wax seal has been brushed with a bit of gold. The wax seal appears to be almost a cameo of a woman in a bonnet, except after a moment you realize that this woman is also a rabbit. She has a rabbit face, and her ears are actually flattened to her head, so they poke out kind of like almost like skis out the front of her bonnet. And she does appear to be wearing a dress of some kind, but it's just like the bust up, and that's the envelope that is laying on top.
I'll read the envelope. The letter. I'll read the letter in the envelope before I touch anything else.
Yeah. So you kind of crack open the envelope and pull out the letter. It is beautiful handwriting. It also appears to be some sort of official stationery from a place known as the Bray and Bunny Inn. And it just says to Chauncey and Company. And it goes on to inform, it's very long. It goes on to the back of the paper too, of that when she refers to this being as the gentle shepherdess, brought Velantrios to the Feywild, she dropped him off for a brief period of time at the Bray and Bunny Inn to await Titania's arrival. And the stuff that he ended up telling this woman touched her so much that she wanted to send you some goodies and invite you all to have a stay at the Bray and Bunny Inn whenever you are passing through Titania's lands in the Feywild. At the end, she signs it sincerely, Madam Constance Cottonfuzz, of the Bray and Bunny Inn.
Love it.
Well, what a delightful gift. I was more inspired by the craftsmanship at the beginning, but
Yay, Guinevere.
it's so sweet.
Oh,
Well, let's have a look and see what we've got.
okay. Oh, Guinevere. Yeah. So I'll start casting identify on the objects in the box.
I mean, when we have like exciting, interesting objects, like the merchant lady has to come and see what's going on.
Oh, of course, of course.
I like how sorry, brain not working. Lyla is like a very wholesome version of Split.
In a way.
I mean, she does bang people for money, so like
Better than killing them.
there are other personas that kill people.
True.
Yeah, like that certain mountain of a man.
Yeah. Are
So inside this box, there are a couple of jars of things.
Okay.
One of them appears to be a sort of glass box holding, they look like berries. They're very large, about the size of like a bouncy ball, about yay big. They have the skin almost like a persimmon, but a sort of baby pink exterior. But they glow from within as if there's an ember sitting inside of them. There is also a deep, deep, deep pink jelly in a jar. There are cards inside that appear to be recipes for hearthberry jam, hearthberry preserve, hearthberry cheesecake, and hearthberry pie. They're beautifully illustrated and they are beautifully written in calligraphy, very old style engraving, wood sort of imagery. There is also a jar that appears to have small eggs in it. It is labeled very clearly in common, rocking horsefly eggs. There is also a bag that appears to have beans in it. When you pick it up and kind of squish it around, there's various different sizes of beans in this bag, as well as two very small, almost sample size bottles of an almost black looking wine. And there are a small, almost like teacup saucer size shield with two otters painted on it. It appears to be made out of wood, with sort of metal trim around it and a few rivets here and there, but they're blue otters painted, kind of moving in a circle, almost as if they're frolicking. There is a small, maybe 6-inch tall pair of purple cowboy boots that are like a deep royal purple with this beautiful gold stitching on it with leaves and that sort of stuff. There is also what appears to be a folded up, it appears to be towel size, folded up of this sort of grayish fur. And a very familiar item to you all. It's a bag that appears to be filled with almost fist-sized orbs of some kind, a little bit worn. It is a tan bag of tricks that you would recognize was Velantrios's. As well as underneath of the envelope is actually a silver, it's about this big ticket. It almost looks like a train ticket, that same phthalo green with gold all over it, that proudly proclaims, amongst other images and other sort of fine print that kind of just leads to you can only use the ticket once, a one-night free stay for Chauncey and company at the Bray and Bunny Inn.
This whole package is so cottagecore that I love it.
It is very cottagecore.
It's 100%.
So
I hate this keyboard.
as you are pulling the items out of the box to kind of investigate them, you notice the shield, when you pull it out, it is about the size of a teacup, but when you pull it out of the box, it expands to the size of a regular shield, and you do not see a way to make it shrink back down. Same thing happens with the boots. As you pull the two boots down, they kind of form into a regular human-sized pair of purple cowboy boots. And the cloak that appears to be the fur, that appears to be like a towel folded, as you unfold it, it expands into a huge cloak made out of what appears to be wolf's fur.
Ooh.
So the items you have received, as you kind of look through them, of course, you have about a cup's worth of hearth berries. You also have a just a regular jam jar size jar of hearthberry jam. Of course, you have the recipe cards.
Mm-hmm.
The bag of many different sized beans are specifically, they're considered illusion seeds. They create an illusion that is real enough for a period of time to perform a specific function. So you have, and I'll open the book and actually like read what the items do. You should be able to find them on D&D Beyond since they are from the Book of Ebon Tides. But I'll read them off to you anyway, just so that you're not like searching around forever. They're illusion seeds. You have 5 bonfire seeds, 5 bridge seeds, 5 messenger owl seeds, 5 road seeds, 2 stallion seeds, and 2 tavern seeds. Additionally, you have 2 bottles of wine of the winter court. The shield is a shield of otters. The boots are trickster's boots. The wolfskin cloak is a wolfskin cloak. And of course, the tan bag of tricks is the tan bag of tricks.
Okay, hang on. Can you do the seeds one more time?
Okay. So you have 5 bonfire seeds, 5 bridge seeds, 5 messenger owl seeds,
Uh-huh.
5 road seeds.
ROAD, like road?
Yes.
Okay, I think I got everything else.
The stallion seeds, tavern seeds, and then wine of the winter court. Yeah. So the shield of otters, while holding the shield, you can speak its command word to summon a pair of otters. You're going to use the giant weasel stat block. For 12 hours, the aquatic mammals will scout aquatic and riparian terrain. I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to look that specific word up.
What does it say? What type of terrain?
Aquatic or riparian. Riparian. Not quite sure what that means. I'm assuming it has something to do with rivers. Warn you of enemies and keep watch while you sleep. They do not engage in combat on your behalf and flee if attacked or threatened. After the duration, the shield cannot summon another otter pair until after you have left fish, shellfish, or similar food on the shield during a short rest. In addition, while holding the shield, you gain the ability to speak with otters and other aquatic mammals, such as seals.
Oh, okay, I like that.
So that's
So
the shield.
Riparian so Riparian are like wetlands and like banks of rivers, like fertile lands that are
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Thought it was going to be something like that. So the boots are trickster's boots. These boots, usually shaped with a bright leather, red, orange, or purple. I've specifically chosen purple. While wearing these boots, you can leave tracks of any other creature in snow as you choose, including animal, monster, or even dragon tracks. You can also leave tracks resembling foot gear you've seen or worn in the past. Attempts to follow these tracks are made as normal. It does specifically say in the snow, but I am going to say like mud, clay, other things that you could leave a footprint in. You can leave a footprint.
That sounds, yeah.
Because it's weird that it specifically notes snow and nothing else. So the wolfskin cloak, this is the only item I believe that does require attunement. While wearing the cloak as an action, you can assume the form of a dire wolf, gaining its bite attack, speed, and AC. You also gain its keen hearing and smell trait. You retain your own ability scores, hit points, and saving throws. So it's kind of a wild shape.
That's awesome.
But not quite.
Dire wolf look.
And then, of course, the tan bag of tricks you all can look up. So the illusion seeds that you have received. So the bonfire seed. When thrown, this illusion seed turns into a roaring bonfire about 5 feet across, complete with a large and small timbers and coal. If thrown into a space where a creature is standing, you must make a ranged attack. If the attack misses, the creature knocks the seed into any neighboring space. If it hits, the bonfire does 2d6 fire damage to any creature standing in it at the start of its turn. The bonfire burns out normally in 1d4 hours, depending on rain and other conditions. I will say the illusion seeds only last 2d12 hours before the whole illusion unravels and vanishes.
And that's every time you throw one of the seeds you do.
Yes.
Okay.
And it is consumed. These are not reusable. That's why you got multiple of them. So the next one is a bridge seed. When thrown, this illusion seed turns into a wooden bridge with stone piers covering a stream, moat, chasm, gorge, or river up to 40 feet across. If thrown into a space where a creature is standing or swimming, that creature finds itself standing on the bridge decking without suffering any ill effect. The bridge can be undermined by flooding or burnt by fire normally, otherwise it remains standing for decades, slowly decaying, except they vanish in 2d12 hours. So that's
right.
Yeah. So, because these seeds are technically, they exist forever if you use them in a specific realm that does not exist in this campaign. So some of the descriptions are going to say stuff like they stand for decades. No, they will not.
Right.
So the next seed that you all got were the messenger owl seeds. When thrown, the seed turns into a normal owl with the intelligence score of 14 and the ability to speak common. And I'm going to say one other language of your choice because Umbral does not exist in this campaign.
Okay.
It will carry a spoken message and any object weighing up to 1 pound for a distance of up to 30 miles, delivering them to a particular person, a creature with a particular title or station, such as guard at the East Gate or Court of the Golden Oak, blah, 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 or to a particular place. Once its mission is accomplished, the messenger owl waits up to 4 hours for a return message or object to carry back to you. If no object or message is provided, it disappears. So next up is the road seed. The seed must be used outdoors, and when thrown, it creates a well-built road through any terrain up to 5 miles long. The road includes up to 1 bridge crossing for a stream or chasm up to 50 feet across. It may likewise include supports, log causeways, or leveled sections along single section of marsh, hillside, or even mountainous terrain. The road seed, when combined with the tavern seed, can generate a road twice as long as the road seed alone. A road seed can be countered or removed with an earthquake or shadow walk spell. I'm not sure shadow walk exists in this universe, but it's going to be a lot of stuff like that with these items, just so that you know. And then the final one, I believe, oh, nope, there's still some more. The stallion seed. When thrown, the seed turns into a magical swift courser with an intelligence of 14 and the ability to speak common or one language of your choice. It will carry you for up to 30 miles, delivering you to a particular place or following a particular road or path. If engaged in combat, the stallion acts as a normal warhorse, and it flees at the first opportunity. Yeah, these illusions don't really like combat. And I believe the final one is going to be the tavern seed. A tavern seed must be used outdoors. When it is thrown, it creates a small, snug tavern of stone and wood, roughly 40 feet by 20 feet, with a lower public floor and upper floors devoted to the staff bedchambers, storage, and a single room for rent. The entire building takes on an outward style of architecture, materials, roofing, and appearance that suits the region where it stands. It has a staff of 3, a cook, a bartender, and a servant of a type typical to the region. Using a tavern seed in an existing settlement creates a snug tavern as normal, magically shifting 2 buildings to either side slightly to make room. The new structure is certainly notable and surprising to residents of the place. A tavern seed combined with a road seed always includes a set of warm, secure tables as well as the tavern building itself. And then let me scroll on over to the wine I went past it. Where is it? Is it earlier in, oh dear. This is the part where I have fun scrolling through the entire book, trying to find the single item that I need, because this is set up differently from all of the other books that I have used. Because that's fun. Oh my goodness. It's around here somewhere. I know it. Here it is. So you got 2 Wine of the Winter Court. This wine, so dark red in color, it is nearly black, pours from its bottle in a syrupy flow. When you drink it, you taste notes of sour apple, bitter ash, and jealousy. And your thoughts are occupied with vivid memories of heartbreak and loss. When you drink this wine, you have disadvantage on charisma ability checks for 1 hour, but you are immune to being charmed and can add your proficiency bonus to wisdom saves for the duration. If you already add your proficiency bonus to wisdom saving throws, your bonus is doubled for the duration.
Wait a minute. Hang on. First of all, I'll be having that goddamn wine. 2, do you have to consume the whole bottle, or does the bottle have uses?
Nope, it is 1 use. That's why the bottle is a sample size bottle of wine,
Oh,
not
it's a sample.
full
Okay,
bottle of
sorry,
wine.
I
It's a
missed that
sample
part.
size bottle, and you have 2 sample size bottles.
Bitch.
And it has a letter that says
That,
drink.
that whiz save. Let me get that whiz save.
Yes, you will have disadvantage on ability checks, so Lyla will not be as persuasive or intimidating or, things like that, but you can't be charmed.
We could always try and spike someone a little bit.
Also true.
So yeah, that
You
is...
could use it to manipulate somebody as well.
Yes,
Because if you give
exactly.
them disadvantage, so you could use the negatives on an enemy or the positives on yourself.
I will say, because the positives is you can't charm them, it would be an issue for trying to get someone specifically to do what you want, unless you just wanted to wreck their life
No,
for an hour,
well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
because they will be sad.
I
Anyway,
can make somebody take their pants off pretty easily. For sure.
well, they are immune to being charmed, but meh.
I'm very persuasive.
Okay. Don't we know it?
So that is what is in the box.
Fabulous. I got all of that jotted down. I don't know if
I listed it out too while we were
you
going.
want to just say that we distributed that and then use it whenever we feel like, oh yeah, I put that in my bag whenever that happened.
I was gonna say, if there's something you specifically want, I'd take it, but otherwise I've got a bag of holding. You have a bag of holding.
Also, like, doesn't everybody know?
I think everybody but Adrien.
So I'm pretty sure I would have a bag of holding, considering that my grandfather is exceedingly respected and rich, and the fact that he sent me out on a mission with no determined amount of time.
All right, I'll give it to you.
All right, bag of holding it is. But also you're at the tavern, so like...
Yeah, also, you guys don't really know me, so I don't think you would give any of this to me.
Probably not.
All right, well, so, it's funny because, like, Lyla really wants the wine of the Winter Court, but Guinevere is actually probably more interested in the Hearthberry Jam. Like, she's a hungry bitch, so...
So it's just sort of like a tug of war between the two.
Yeah, like, I'm debating if I want to do a... I definitely, I do want one of those wines, if you want.
Okay, I'll take the other wine if you want one wine.
Yeah, I do.
Because I feel like the wine might be a good thing for me to have in my back pocket at some point.
It'd be useful.
Oh, because of your wisdom
Also, toss a
saves.
quarter.
Oh, do we think Jed came with us? Is there anything that Jed would?
I will say, Jed instantly went upstairs to Birdie, since Birdie and him are kind of like this.
Fair.
So he is currently visiting Birdie privately.
The direwolf cloak, that does what again? You keep basically most of your stats, but you get it is in a sense a free wild shape.
but you have to use it to be a direwolf. And I believe it is the only item of all of the items that I've given you that requires attunement, which may be an issue because I think almost all of you have every attunement slot full.
Yeah, I'm out of it. So,
but in my defense, Constance Cotton Fuzz does not know anything about you all and just sent you nice, lovely presents because she is a nice, lovely bunny woman.
So, I mean, yeah, you can.
So in my defense, if there's things in here that you do not want nor need, fair.
Yeah, we can bag it for now or resell it later, maybe.
Go ahead and bag that.
Because I'm sure the otter shield is going to be a bit hard to use, but it's
do you
something.
Want to? Are you interested in the seeds? Do you want to divvy the seeds? How do you feel about those?
We should probably divvy the seeds up. Like
I definitely want at least a road and a tavern. I know there's 5 roads and 2 taverns.
Yep.
Okay. I feel like yeah.
And maybe a stallion, like just
one road, 1 tavern, 1 stallion.
You know what? Can I just do like one of all of them, and you can do whatever else you want with like.
Sure. I'll ask Colton when he's here how many of each he wants.
Yeah.
But you'll definitely get 1 of each. I think the only ones that Chauncey are probably super interested in are the messenger owl seeds. Maybe the stallion seed, but otherwise it's whatever. It's not like we're gonna specifically use them just for ourselves.
No.
Like the bonfire one you can use in a fight. I think that's the only one that's good for fight.
Is interesting.
Yeah. It is a one-use thing, and it's going to stay there for 2d12 hours.
Yeah.
Are you? I mean, I kind of feel like maybe one of my personas could get some use out of the trickster boots. I mean,
I literally I thought of you when they started talking about.
Is that cool? Like, okay, all right.
Yeah, because you can. It's like
the description alone.
Yeah,
like
the bag of tricks, though. That's not. I don't know that the bag of tricks is really any of my people's speed, except maybe Aiden. Like Aiden would maybe feel like a bag of tricks person, but if anyone else wants claim over that first, please.
Oh, I could definitely tell like Aiden would have a blast with that.
Oh, Aiden would probably have a blast with it.
I just love that he like whipped ass during that one combat encounter like a 5-year-old. It was so great.
I love Aiden.
Yeah, I mean, if you like, I already have 2 robots, so I don't need to have to worry about an animal stat block in the middle of a fight too.
Right.
So I don't want the
I will say I made a mistake. It is a rust bag of tricks. I looked at the animals and I was like, those aren't animals that Velantrios has ever pulled out of the bag.
Okay.
And then I realized it is not a tan bag, it's a rust bag. So the
Rust
animals you can pull out of a rust bag are rat, owl, mastiff, goat, giant boar, lion, and brown bear. I was looking at the tan bag and I'm like, there's no lions. We had 2 lions one fight. It's the rust bag of tricks.
Are they like real animals to an extent?
To an extent, I will say.
Can you eat them?
Oh,
I will say no.
Okay, I don't. If I can't eat or skin them, Chauncey's not that interested.
All right.
No, they will instantly disappear.
I will have the bag and the boots then. I have no interest in that cloak.
I'm just gonna throw the cloak in my bag. Maybe, who knows, 10 sessions down the line. And it'd be really helpful if someone could wild shape into a wolf.
I'm not really interested in the shield either, for the record. I don't think that's
the otter shield. Yeah, the otter shield is a bit specific, but
if the otter shield doesn't,
my persona, I'm not.
Yeah. If the otter shield doesn't require any sort of attunement or anything, I'll throw it on my back.
Otter shield does not require attunement. Okay. Like I said, the wolf cloak is the only one of these items that requires attunement. The rest of them are free for all, including the boots, which is interesting.
I'm probably never going to use it as an actual shield, but being able to have 2 otter scouts if we're on the water might be helpful. Chauncey's slowly just turning into a bag lady of the stuff that doesn't fit in the bag of holding, and then he's got 2 shields strapped to his back.
While you have the shield on, you will be able to speak to aquatic mammals.
Yeah.
Just that's the other thing that it can do.
So yeah, we'll divvy those up, and presumably Jed's still upstairs.
Yes.
I will look at Guinevere, and I'm just gonna be like, um, is it is it safe for you to? I mean, we were lucky Des was out of the room when you changed, but
Eh, it's not like with all this been going on, she's gonna notice much of an extra person strolling about. Besides, I was more worried about that butt-nosing in hoity-toity motherfucker what come up in town blasting away at stuff what was none of his business.
But
Noticing changing.
oh, your
And they
accent.
couldn't
I'm sorry. Sometimes it takes me a second. Are you talking about that
Adrien.
Adrien? Is
Oh,
that
is that what he said his name was? I wasn't paying attention for that bit.
it is? I wouldn't. I'm. I am a little concerned myself. I do think I'd like to have another conversation with him before the day gets any longer. Presumably, he's very new in town. I hope. Chauncey's just gonna be like, Des.
Oh,
She kind of pokes her head out. Yes.
Um, have the we ran into another. I think he's a Dhampir at the inn. Have you heard anything about him? How new is he to town?
Um, I think he came in about maybe like 2 or 3 days ago, something along those lines. Just I don't quite remember what he was looking for, something about the Night Riders or something, but other than
Oh,
that, he's
well,
been a bit tight-lipped.
okay, okay. I'm gonna look at Guinevere. Oh, Lyla.
just like right before you called her back into the room, she was like,
Lyla, do you think you could? Oh, do you think you could get those tight lips to pry open a little for us?
oh my darling, if only you knew. Now, I'm sorry, exactly whose lips was it we were talking about?
We're talking about um that Adrien character, the one with the lightning bolts earlier. Not
Oh, you mean the one with the hair?
the one with the hair. Not saying that I don't enjoy the prospect of having another Dhampir, if he's a I don't even know if he's a full vampire. I'm just, after Des walks out of the room, Chauncey's gonna be like, I'm just concerned about what he's eating while he's in town.
Well, you know Teddy knows your proclivities. And I did suggest that he get him fixed up. Perhaps he gave him a little bit of a nudge in the right direction. One can only hope. But I
I
don't know. Perhaps you should have a word with him to the
it,
wise.
it is I'm at least to the best of my knowledge, I was the first Dhampir to ever settle in this town, and
And you'll always be the most handsome.
Lyla, stop. And then he blushes a little. He's gonna be like, honestly though, there's a lot of there's a lot of negativity that can come from misconceptions about people, and I want to make sure that the good work I've put in doesn't go to waste.
You mean to say you're concerned having another bloodsucker in town might make the people think that you's a monster?
In more, yes, yeah, yes. I mean, I'm not going to try to fancy it up. Yes, I'm more incidents. My mother invented an entire memory wiping potion because of incidents.
Which, as far as I gather, you've not had the need to use since. Now, I can only hope his family provided him the same sort of caution that you've exercised during your time with us. But I suppose your concerns are founded. What exactly have you been doing to keep yourself sustained this whole time since you've not bothered to take me up on my offer?
Well, I mean, before Delmas and I broke up, it was not that. I'd rather bedroom talk. I'd rather not talk about it.
And
And since then, a cow or chicken, it doesn't taste as pleasant, but it gets the job done. And then since we've been on the road, it's whenever
well,
something tries to kill us, it's not that bad for me to bite it. You saw me with those lizard men,
do remember the reptiles, yes.
and I fed off of, or I bit I actually bit Corrigan. She very
Oh yeah.
sneaky. I wasn't expecting that. A nice.
I wasn't there for that, but I'll
Oh yes.
I'll take
It
your word
wouldn't.
for it.
Uh,
Um,
it was
I'll have
Aiden.
to ask the others about it later. He what? Oh yes, that's right. Okay. I yes, I remember. He had me distracted doing this whole thing with Guinevere. Well, you ain't met him yet, but I'm sure that'll happen later.
If he's a Dhampir, he may not need to. I don't need to drink blood daily for my health, but
Well, what I can tell you is just from looking at him, I'm aware he doesn't. Well, it does appear he has a taste for finer things.
maybe he'll take you up on your offer if you offer it to him.
What do you think? Gee, I don't know though. Didn't look like he was traveling with much. I'm not exactly a cheap date. I guess if you're concerned that much, then perhaps we should check up on him at the tavern, see how he's getting settled in, and maybe just maybe see about his appetite. Appetites? Habitat.
Sounds like a plan to me. And Chauncey's like gonna kind of try to see, and maybe he doesn't really hear anything. He's gonna be like, I think Jed might be a hot minute up there. So
Oh, yeah. I've never really understood. Well, after he wasn't himself anymore, I figured out who it was. What fascination he's got with that girl. I mean, for the preacher man, it sure did make sense, but
he
for
still has to put on
Jedidiah,
appearances, right?
I suppose that's true. But it does seem like he genuinely cares for her, don't you think? He did sort of rush over there pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think you do have a point there, Lila.
If I might be honest, I'm a little concerned about the future of my town. You know, between just you and me, I've just so much has been shook up lately, and I don't know that we're gonna make it.
Chauncey's just like shit, and then he's gonna be like, I mean, it's it's been shaken up, but maybe a good way. We've gotten people from what's the name of that town that we just saw implode because the
Gorge,
mine died out?
got a
Twin
gorge,
Gulch.
twin gulch.
Twin Gulch. Twin Gulch?
Yes.
Well, yes,
Chauncey's
and then the very moment after we was attacked by what was her name again?
Clara Sanderson.
Which was after a ship crashed and we were attacked by some kind of dreadful robotic beasts, whatever those were.
Oh, those were just sentry bots, and we took care of them more. Well, I can't exactly say it was easy. A lot of you went almost died, but we've gotten a lot better at not dying since then.
Well, and then of course there's Jed himself. What with throwing about fireballs all in the center of town.
That is also concerning. I wonder if anyone noticed.
Hmm.
Uh,
If you mean if they noticed his true face, then trust me, they haven't noticed me in quite some time. So,
there. I think the town is growing, which maybe it's just some growing pains, and I mean, we watched Twin Gulch implode on itself, but now the Briganocks are in our minds, and that's a good sign. They wouldn't migrate here unless there was more to be done.
I forgot about those little guys.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them. We should
I
bring them a little treat at some point.
yeah, I'm going to maybe I could use some Chauncey's gonna look at these horsefly eggs in the batter for some cupcakes and see if they like them.
Yeah, I was curious about above game. Like I was curious about the horsefly, the rocking horsefly eggs. Like, are those utile or
They appear to be more along the lines of insect eggs, like a moth cocoon, rather than like a shelled egg.
like do they like is it like a summon creature situation or is it like a
Unfortunately, no. It
that's
is
just
more of like if you decide to start a garden with like Feywild plants and you
okay?
want to pollinate them,
They're pollinators. That's right.
they're pollinators. Yeah,
Okay.
I
Okay.
believe this was explained to Velantrios before he left, that they were pollinators.
It was.
Um,
Oh,
but he
Chauncey's
didn't
just
get the
like,
chance to tell you.
I'll just bake them into a fucking cupcake.
I
But
will say you would probably notice pulling them out if you were going to like try and crack them open for a batter. They are more akin to like a cocoon, like almost a silkworm cocoon or a moth cocoon, where it's like this is not an egg to be used for cooking. This is not a cooking egg. This is a wait until the thing hatches egg.
yeah. But yeah, I would just be like, Lila, I understand your concerns. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have concerns of my own. I do. I worry for this town. I worry for the friends that I've made here. But I'm confident that we can, and he says we instead of I, because he's like looking her in the eyes, like, I'm confident that we can keep everyone safe.
Hmm. Wasn't exactly my intention when I rolled up in these streets like a tumbleweed, but I done got feelings for this place now.
The people have a way of growing on you.
They sure do. Speaking of which, let's go see us some Teddy and get us some drinks.
And
So
perhaps
as
we shouldn't, he's going to hold up one of the little, we should save these for a special occasion, right?
Is this the rocking horsefly
No,
eggs?
the little wine bottles, because we each took one.
Oh my darling, yes, that's not something to be enjoyed so casually. I mean, there's plenty of ale back at the tavern for quiet sipping, you know. This is something for a special occasion. She'll just like tuck one of them like in her.
Mhm.
Into the bag of holding with everything else Lila didn't take.
Yeah, all of the junk.
Yep.
Jed will get to it later, and
Yeah. I really only grabbed like one of all the seeds, the bottle, the boots.
yeah.
And I think Guinevere probably pocketed the jam. Right after she like, I don't know, somehow had a piece of bread in her pocket real quick to retcon, like just spread some of that and just like shoved it in her mouth before she switched to Lila.
Yeah, of course, Guinevere would notice as the jam is being spread. The jam itself is not of a warm temperature, but as it spreads across the bread, there's kind of a hearthy glow that is deep within the jam that toasts the bread, so it's a crunchy piece of toast, even if it's fresh, soft bread.
Toast. I had to. Lovely.
So, of course, as you leave the general store, you do actually bump into Delmas as he just kind of, hi, Lila, Chauncey, and kind of shoves past you into the general store.
And just Lila leans over, but in Valakar's voice, you want us to do something about him.
No, Chauncey's just like,
Valakar,
I can do, I can deal. Let me try to deal with my own problems, but I thank you, my friend.
I'm sorry about that. He just
Just
happens sometimes.
give me just a moment, okay? And I'm gonna go back in the general store.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lila will
all
just
right.
I don't know when she got a parasol, but she's got one now. Maybe there was just one hanging out in the store. She just grabbed it on the way out.
I thought she always had one.
Chilling.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So yep, you head back into the general store where you do see Delmas kind of waiting there as Dez is clearly just darting around the corner to grab something as he's just kind of standing there at the counter waiting.
Hey, Dez,
Yeah,
could you go check something in the back for a little bit? I just need to have just a little talk.
I have plenty of boxes to rearrange. And
Thank
she
you.
moves into the back as Delmas kind of turns around. What do you want?
Chauncey's gonna pull out of his bag of holding a pouch and kind of undo it a little. And there's just a pile of ashes in it. He's like, do you know what this is?
Looks like ashes.
This is Corrigan.
And his eyes kind of go wide as he I'm sorry, what?
This is Corrigan, Delmas. Like I told you, I went and I took care of it. So you can either start acting a little bit nicer or leave me alone. While you stayed in town like a coward, my friends and I went and dealt with the problem and the loose ends that I found out that we needed to wrap up. And I've been nice, I've been cordial, especially when your new little orc friend keeps antagonizing me. And I don't want to fight. You know me, I hate fighting. So, get the chip off of your shoulder or stop coming into my store. Two options.
Fine. And I'll have a talk with Leroy about not pissing you off.
And you still owe me for that bolt of leather from a few weeks ago. You just walked in and took it.
And he kind of gets his bag out and opens it, grabs about maybe 2 gold, and kind of just slaps it into your hand. There.
No more freebies. We're both businessmen in town now. But Chauncey's like, the hard ass persona is slightly fading a little. He's like, it is done though. And if you care, I ran into Hortensia on my travels too. She's doing all right. So it wasn't just us that got out.
Hopefully the others got out too.
Maybe if we're lucky, we'll run into more of them down the line. Dez, I think Delamis is ready. I'm gonna zip or not zip. I'm gonna cinch the bag of Corrigan's fucking ashes back, put them in my bag of holding, take my 2 gold, and I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, as he still is like kind of huffing over by the desk, you do see Dez come out with a box of something and put it down and kind of look out the door before turning back. You don't quite hear what they're talking about before you leave the general store.
Does like Chauncey comes out, Lyla, I mean you, like they are all fairly perceptive, very. So her reaction says absolutely nothing, just spins her parasol a little bit, holds it up over Chauncey's head, tips her chin, smiles, and there's a little teensy bit of an extra sway as she's walking. That's it.
Of
That's
course.
Swagger.
Of course. So yeah, as you all
Stranger.
are walking back into town, you do see one of the buildings that used to be vacant for quite some time. Actually, both of the buildings next to each other were vacant. They used to be some kind of shop of some kind that left before anyone really arrived. They've been empty ever since. One is the Drake's Ridge Bugler, which seems to be started by Goldie from
Twin Gulch.
Twin Gulch. And next to it is a sign. It's a very simple sign as opposed to Goldie's sign, which is very much like a big old trumpet with the letters big and bold. It seems she's gathered enough money to make a big old sign, and the interior looks rather nice. It's just almost a wooden plank with just the word Zelina's and then haircuts underneath of it that's been nailed to this a sort of post of the canopy. It's not a very big grand sign, but it's there, and there's definitely someone wandering around in the interior. In fact, walking out is a woman who you do recognize, but it seems that she has changed form. You recognize her face. This is Zelina, but she appears to be a human with sort of a darker skin and sort of box braids in her hair and a sort of poofy, sort of Western style dress. It seems that she has disguised herself to be here as she kind of walks out with a broom and looks up, and her eyes kind of light up as she sees you all walking and kind of walks over. I'm not sure if you remember me, but
we do recognize her even in human.
yes, you would recognize that this is Zelina. It's almost the exact same face, just
okay,
different body. Because you saw her as a succubus with like red skin and horns and wings and a tail, and she is just appears like an average woman now, which is presumably some sort of magical disguise.
Well, fancy meeting you here.
Well, I remember you mentioned finding a place on the material plane and settling down, and you mentioned Drake's Ridge, and I took you up on that offer. It is kind of strange I have to charge money for my haircuts. I got quite a stern talking to from the woman that moved in next door about, anyway. She was actually the first one to get a haircut from me.
Taxes, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm still kind of getting used to all that and owing money for things, and I I had to buy food and then just hide it somewhere because I felt people would get suspicious of me not buying food ever. But
Well, talking of your appetites, you just make sure you don't rile up the menfolk too much. You hear?
trust me, I haven't done that in quite a long time. I've given up on that.
Just a friendly warning.
Well, if you want a haircut, it's only going to be 3 silver.
Well.
Still not sure what I'm going to use that silver for, but I have it.
My dear. And she'll just she's like just playing with a bit of the end of her hair as it like turns pink, and then some of it gets shorter a little bit, and then it gets longer in her hand, and she's just, yeah, I don't think that's going to be necessary. But I appreciate the kind offer. I will mention it to the next human.
Well, I am here if you ever need me for any reason. I'm really glad I moved to this town. It's a lot slower pace and less grandiose than
Stick
my old
around
life.
for a minute. That has a tendency to change.
No. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, we will cross that bridge when we get there.
I'm sure we will. And I do wish you the best of success with your new business.
Yes, well, thank you. I'm not sure if the sign is really attracting any visitors, but
I mean, if you want something to spend that silver on, I'd be more than happy to zhuzh up your sign for you for a little bit of money.
Oh, that would actually be really nice.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the
Um,
great thing about having money is you can use it for other things.
yeah, I'm still getting used to that. It used to be all favors and IOUs and bloody fights to the death, but now it's just coin. Kind of
Yeah.
hard to redirect yourself sometimes.
Once you learn to speak the language, honey, things get a little bit easier.
A few of the hard on the luck people may not have enough coin, but they'll try. Sometimes they trade me chickens for sewing. Canonically, Chauncey's got a chicken coop behind the general store, pretty much, that Gertie takes care of. He's
Oh,
just like,
I'm not surprised.
yeah. So I mean, sometimes you'll get barter, but mostly coin for those that can afford it. Sometimes goods and barter, but yeah.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. Um, and then at this point, you see a very old woman, kind of with a cane, walking up. Oh, do you do haircuts, young lady? Oh, yes, I do. Come right on in. It's a bit shabby. I just moved in, but and she just guides her into her hair salon and shuts the door.
Chelsea gonna be like, I'm seeing these maybe outside of her salon. If we take that pole, we could do like a candy cane stripe outside of it. Very eye-catching.
Whatever you say, I mean, you're the master craftsman.
Shall we go to the we should go to the tavern, right? That's where we're going.
You did have kind of a bit of concern you expressed about that new fella.
Yes. To the tavern.
Hold her parasol up over his head again as they.
Lovey May has been there pretty much the whole time with her own parasol. We're double parasoling now.
Kind of bumping into each other. Not quite clipping, but
Yeah.
just like
Oh, excuse me, robot bitch. I have feelings, so
I have emotions.
Oh.
Yeah, so you make your way back to the tavern. Adrien, are you downstairs drinking or are you still up in your room?
Um, hmm. I think I was done with everything upstairs. Not really a lot to do. So I guess I'm downstairs, drinking whatever's good there.
Yeah, Teddy probably lines you up with some ale, not really knowing how much money you have, just kind of lines you up with a not the most amazing ale there is, but also not the absolute hogwash for people that just want
Yeah.
to get drunk. More of like a middle of the pack sort of. It's good enough, but it's not the greatest in the universe level stuff, and just kind of gives it to you in a stein as you watch these two walk back into the saloon.
So, um, also it should be noted, he does have his familiar, um, which is a raven. Uh,
Oh yeah, didn't catch that.
yeah, it wasn't mentioned during the fight.
In the chaos.
Features and traits, descriptions, notes. I'm trying to remember. Chrysanthus.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Is
Yes,
it on him? Is it like perched on his shoulder? Is it on his chair? Is it nearby?
It's. I would say it's like on the on his shoulder.
Hmm.
Um, basically like keeping an eye out.
As ravens are wont to do. So yeah, Chrysanthus definitely kind of almost caws a little as the two of them walk in, just drawing your attention to them as you fought with them before, and it seems they're back.
Well,
Uh,
there he is. You got something to say, you might as well say.
Oh,
Teddy! She just like starts strolling a little bit.
Oh,
It
hi
should be
there.
Lyla,
it should be noted that when Chrysanthus sees the two of you, he makes that like guttural sound that crows are known for making.
pleasant.
Lyla just, as she's walking.
All right. And Teddy starts filling up 2 more steins with what I'm assuming with what Adrien has, and just kind of sets them in front of you two as you all sit down at the bar.
Are we at the bar or are we at a table? We're sitting with him, right? That was the plan?
Yes.
Wherever he's at, yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna invite ourselves over.
Mhm.
Lyla will get like, uncomfortably close, like real up there.
Mhm.
Just try to, so Adrien, tell me, how is it you've been getting settled in? Boobies.
Sorry.
Adjusts self.
Yeah.
But
Adrien.
sorry, it still takes me a second.
Mhm.
Adrien doesn't even deign to give that move a glance. He just looks over at you and he's like, about as well as as can be expected. How have you guys been since that whole debacle?
Stands up, brushes her dress off, sits a little bit further away.
I'll just pat her hand and be like, it was a good try.
Yeah. I mean, you could have rolled seduce, but
Yeah. Checking up on a bit of business. I assume Teddy's got y'all settled in a room upstairs. Hopefully somewhere down the hall.
yes, it's very quaint and very cozy.
Cheers.
Cheers. He holds up his drink.
Mm-hmm.
Chauncey's like, at least in the back of his head, Chauncey's like, at least he's drinking ale.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yellow as mine.
Adrien looks to Chauncey with a raised eyebrow, just wordless.
Chauncey didn't say it; he thought it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So Adrien, you said you came to town you were looking for something, right?
Yes, it's rather personal.
Something about a page of a book.
Yeah, you could say that. My family are sort of collectors.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I thought he told that to us both in character and above game. Did he not?
I don't remember in the horrible repeated internet crash of last
Yeah,
episode.
that's
I
why I
am
needed
not
to
sure
know.
what was said or what was not said between you all. I was desperately trying to fix my internet.
Knowing me, I'm a bit of a blabbermouth, so in character, I probably would have told you guys.
I think, yeah, like, I feel like we met, like, didn't we meet in the tavern for like a hot second, and then the lady showed up and we went outside,
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
suddenly
Like
he was just
emergency.
kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, all right. Okay, so we know about the page. All right.
I don't think you dropped the name of the book, though.
No,
Oh,
it was a page.
just a page of a book.
Just it was a page of a book.
Yeah. And what exactly was it about this inquiry that led you to a fine town, Teddy?
That is a very good question, my DM.
So, mentioning probably the Night Riders, you were kind of pointed in a general direction since the Night Riders are migratory. And so you were kind of pointed in the direction of Drake's Ridge, because maybe Night Riders passed through Drake's Ridge at some point. It's kind of a bit hazy. People weren't the most helpful. And so you kind of wandered around and ended up here at this place that seemed quaint enough to settle down for a little bit before attempting more inquiries, hoping to get a better picture. But people were mostly wholly unhelpful, both in Turtle Shell Key and on the way here.
Okay, awesome, great, thank you. In character, so my grandfather's book, or my grandfather's page, was stolen by a disreputable group of vampires named the Night Riders, and I've been tracking them down like a bloodhound.
Well, he's gonna like put his. The Night Riders stole the page of the book?
See what I said, Chauncey? When I said I was worried about the future this time?
Yes, unfortunately.
That doesn't.
And tracking them down has been a royal pain in my ass.
Now wait just a second. Teddy! Did you
As he
know
brings you another
you know
ale.
about these Night Riders?
Are you asking
Sorry.
Teddy?
No, I'm talking to Chauncey. She's just like snapping, like, God damn it, like where?
Do I need to roll for it, or can I just put that part of my backstory out there?
You can just put that part of your backstory out there if you would like. You know a little bit about the Night Riders.
I mean, I'm not exactly an expert, but I've got a brother who's one of them.
Really?
Just real quick above game, I will say it was mentioned that there was a kind of a subgroup inside of the Night Riders by your grandfather called the Claw. Although I'm not sure if Adrien would make that distinction. I will allow you to decide that. Maybe he's just like, it's just the Night Riders in general and some crazy people, or he is going to separate them, or he's just been asking about the Night Riders because maybe that's just the easiest way he thought to get to the Claw. I will let you figure out what that is.
So I think that he is aware of the distinction, but it's to the point where this is so important that he can't dismiss the other faction.
Right, so it's more of a just finding the Night Riders in hopes of being able to get to the Claw through the Night Riders rather than believing the Night Riders are all at fault for this.
Right. It's like a connect the dots.
Right, okay. Just wanted to clear that up before we went into that conversation. So
yeah, my older brother Silas, when he left home decades ago, he joined up with them, and he's been with them ever since.
And well, I take it these ain't exactly the most welcoming folk.
To say the least.
Well, from what I just heard in passing about your brother, it's not exactly shocking.
Right. About your brother. When was the last time you were in contact with him?
Bit personal of a question, don't you think?
This is a personal situation.
I mean, oh goodness, maybe 10, 15 years ago, he came to visit our mother and father and I, and my parents don't exactly, he doesn't stay for long whenever, so the Night Riders, I've never heard of them stealing something, but he joined up with them because he couldn't control himself, and it was the only place he could go. They feed on bandits and brigands, and Ponderosa as a whole generally tolerates them because Charles's voice is gonna drop a little. He's gonna be like, they eat worse people than they are.
Wow, that's rather interesting. Rather contrary to my experience with them.
Hmm.
I don't suppose you have a way of getting in contact with your brother.
No.
Again, large favor to ask upon the first strike.
Adrien just raises his hand up. And he's like, well, that is a shame. However, it is very useful, I suppose, to have that bit of information. Um, hmm.
Hmm.
I don't know where to go from there.
Well,
Speaking of, oh, sorry.
oh, go ahead. No, please.
Oh, speaking of what they eat, Adrien, what exactly do you eat?
Um, personally, I prefer steaks. Try to eat as many vegetables as I can, healthy diet. I prefer my steak bare, and well, um,
Lila's just kind of staring him down the whole time he's speaking, just like,
and well, consensual. Really, I know what you're getting at. No worries. I only feed on people that are willing, and in the past, I haven't really had an issue with that.
I will also say in just a above game again, real quick, in the city of bats, no one knows how. It's just kind of nightmare logic. It does rain blood, and most of the fountains naturally run blood, so there isn't much of a problem with procuring blood in the city of bats. So being here is kind of, once again, a bit weird, but a bit nostalgic, seeing as how you lived on a farm and had to find sources of blood and then went to living in a place where there was plentiful blood. Coming back here
However,
is
at the same time, him and his grandfather also go on regular expeditions.
that is true.
So, like he has, um, fed on people, but it's only in circumstances where they want it.
Right. All right. And so kind of back in game.
yep.
Chauncey's just gonna look at Lyle and be like, is this okay, I think I can't tell if he's fucking lying, you.
I mean,
In like
what is
facial
the-
expression, in interpretive dance. That is what Chauncey's
Yeah.
like.
Can I
Believe
insight
this.
check him?
This is like this is like in How I Met Your Mother, where they're able to have full conversations with just facial expressions.
I feel like a few people in this group have the ability to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you, yeah, you know what? Sure. If you want to roll an insight check, roll an insight check.
18.
Um, I guess you're not really trying to hide anything. So I guess what is 10 plus your perception just for a passive whatever?
10 plus my perception, or is he talking about
Deception. Deception. This is going to be a
Oh,
passive thing because you're not actively trying to do it.
so 10 plus my deception is 13.
Okay. So Lyla can tell.
So she'll just,
Yeah.
kind of, she just shakes her head like gently, like when Chauncey gives her the eyes, she meets him like, and then like thinks for a second, and then, no.
So this is the signal he's not lying, he's not bullshitting or anything.
Correct.
Okay.
He's not bullshitting yet.
Well,
Yes.
that's good to hear, Adrien. I don't know how many people are going to say yes to that in town right now. I mean, not to say that there aren't any. My my ex, he's
Alright.
got a thing for getting bitten, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole, to be honest.
Let alone a fang.
But other than that, I haven't. I've just been feeding off of livestock. And, well, if someone tries killing me, I feel like in self defense it's implied to be fair game, right? Or is that wrong? I think it's right.
Meh.
Um, I have to admit, I've done that on occasion in situations of stress.
Oh,
However, I prefer, how should I say this? Higher quality.
you see what I told you?
What does that mean?
Oh, don't worry about it, sweetheart. Hey!
Sorry, that was above board. Um, um,
I will just say one of the reasons people don't necessarily run people like us out of town all the time is because of the Night Riders. So maybe take whatever happened with a grain of salt, or
hmm. Um,
Now, tell me, if your search brought you to Drake's Ridge, how worried exactly do I need to be for the future of my home?
sorry, say
What
that
is
again.
what is the nature of this page that has been stolen? Does it put my living in jeopardy?
Not at the moment.
I can live with that.
Hmm. Honestly, sorry. Can I like? I want to I can't remember what the page itself.
So the page that was stolen, no one knows how powerful it is. This is one of those books that's a little bit tricky to try and figure out how powerful it is. Number one, because it was torn apart and cursed never to be put back together. And number two, this was not a specific page on a being. This was a carpet page, a beautiful illustration just there. But it is unknown if that page had any power because this book was incredibly powerful. So powerful, the gods had to destroy it. So
So
it's, you don't know. It could just be a piece of paper or it could be a literal magical atomic bomb. You don't know.
right. So Adrien is like, I honestly don't know. It could either, change someone's hair, it could create an entire city, or it could destroy a country. There's really no way of knowing.
That's a bit of a wide range, and you say it might be here?
Not here as far as I can tell. But I don't know where it is. I am just trying to follow the trail of the Night Riders, trying to find the people who specifically stole it from my family's library.
Mm-hmm.
what kind of book is this from?
That's sort of what I'm wondering.
That's a need to know.
Okay. Okay. Do you want to take this?
Chauncey's just like, are we threatening him? I don't know. I don't know what the vibe is right now, Lyla.
I don't. Then let's just clarify. How about we do that? So, my darling, why exactly is you here? Is you looking for help, or is you just stopping along the way?
Um, I was stopping along the way, just trying to see if anyone has seen or heard mention of the Night Riders.
Well, sure haven't. Any other questions?
Um, Adrien, um, put folds his arms, uh, puts his chin on his hand, and he's like, "Well, I'm feeling rather peckish." While looking at Lyla.
Yeah, I think you made it pretty clear that I wasn't your flavor. Now, that having been said, you've got some skills. We've got some things we're trying to get done. What with just ensuring the safety of our town remains as intact as it can be, as it is currently. And I fear that your arrival here in search of something that dangerous that you're not even willing to share with us its origin implicates even further danger arriving in my town. So what say we aid you in finding this page you've been talking about? And in exchange, you'll help Master Chauncey and I ensure that no harm befalls the citizens of Drake Ridge, as innocent as they are.
I like this arrangement. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. How about we shake on it? As long as you help me find my page, I will aid you in whatever endeavor arises.
Just the safety of these citizens. That's all I'm concerned about.
Very well. He lifts up his hand in expectation of shaking.
Yeah. You just no hand, just drink, and
Yep.
that's what
Not
she.
surprised.
I mean, this is quite. Is it? We just got back, but it also, with a potential world or country or city ending piece of paper floating around. Above game, does anybody remember what the mayor's name is?
Nope.
What's
Mayor
her name?
Yvonne?
Mayor Yvonne.
Yvonne.
We could check with Yvonne. She is, I think, above game. I think divination was her shtick.
Yes, she is a divination wizard.
Yeah. So yeah, Changeling, like, divination is her specialty. If anyone in town's going to be able to suss out a lead on anything, it'll be her. Also,
And
she owes us bounty.
I was going to mention the matter of the reward. Not something you were around for, Adrien. I'm afraid that's business that'll have to be concluded before we embark.
I understand. By all means.
Well, then I suppose you may entertain yourself for the evening. You know where we'll be.
Is there anyone who would be around that he would find rather appetizing?
Oh, I'm sure there are plenty. It's just the question of whether you will be able to convince them to let you bite them. That's the hurdle.
Gee, if only he came from an incredibly wealthy family.
Ooh,
Anyway.
paying for it.
Listen here.
Says Lyla.
Totally above game.
Totally. I was gonna say,
Totally
this
above game.
coming from you.
Hmm.
Nope, wouldn't make sense.
All right. So yeah, you all are heading to Mayor Yvonne's tower.
Sure.
All right. So you head to the tower, and as is kind of typical of this strange magical tower, you don't see a door until you get within about maybe 30 feet of it, where one kind of just forms on the side and actually opens. And you all make your way into Mayor Yvonne's tower and up to her astrolabe, her divination room, as she I see you have returned.
Hmm.
So,
Just barely.
We accomplished our mission. Chauncey's gonna pull out the bag of ashes and be like, one Corrigan Blake. And he's gonna undo it.
um,
Bruce.
I see. I will send a letter. No, I will send a sending spell to Creator's Hollow. They will, they will pay out the 5,000 gold. Um, but have you caught any of the other criminals on the loose?
Yeah.
Just wondering, in case I can kill two birds with one stone. You get all your reward.
What? Those results aren't enough for one excursion?
No, I just want to make sure that if you had others, you are compensated for others.
Well, much appreciated, but no, ma'am.
All right. I will send message to Creator's Hollow. It will be 5,000 gold, I believe. So she's gonna like turn around and kind of make a gesture, and you hear her mumbling something before she turns back around. Well, I sense you have other questions.
Hmm.
There's a new, I think, there's a new fancy lad in town staying over at the inn. Seems to be similar to me in certain aspects.
Ah, I see.
He's looking for a page of a book.
Any more information?
Well, Madame Yvonne, from what I gather, it is a dangerous artifact, and his search has led him here so far. Tracking the movement of the Night Riders.
Interesting.
The only reason we approached you is because I fear for the safety of our residents. I do.
That is understandable. Try. You said it was a page from a powerful book.
It's the only information we've got.
He told us it could either change the color of your hair, create a whole city, or destroy a country, and he's not sure if it would do one or two or all three of those or any other strange thing. Personally, I don't particularly care if my hair color changes if someone drops a city on my head.
Right. Let me try something. And she is going to, I believe that is the spell component of this particular spell. She is going to cast Legend Lore. Let me just look real quick. Yep. She goes into her a drawer and pulls out some ivory strips from this just box of them, and she spends some time casting this spell before you watch your eyes glow for a moment and they, oh my. If the spell did not lead me astray, I do not have very much information. He is looking for a page from the Liber Logaeth. It was a book that was so powerful, the gods themselves ripped it apart and cursed each and every page so that they may never be rejoined. The pages have been appearing all over the universe for quite some time, but if they get too many together, they all fly off once again. It is the ultimate encyclopedia, holding the true names of demons, devils, angels, fairies, elementals, people, dead and not yet born. It can conjure cities, buildings, animals, beasts, fairy spirits. Even the archfey themselves are not safe. And perhaps even the gods beyond the veil of death could be summoned with this book. One single page could be anything from information on basic wolves in the woods to the true name of Asmodeus himself.
Not exactly something that gives you comfort.
Not really, no. It could be any one of the pages. We hope it is information on basic forest wolf, but it could be dangerous.
Why didn't I just stay and pound the roast like my papa said?
Now, is there any way, Yvonne, that you could help? I can't cast the sending spell myself. I may have been raised by a wizard. A wizard I am not. Chauncey's gonna you see Taily pose just like swatting at like an astrolabe in the corner.
It's just like a gyroscope that's just spinning and she's just...
Yep.
I was just like, there are ways that I've learned to work magic, but I can't cast a sending spell. Is there a way that you could help me cast a sending spell to someone that I know? Is that a thing we could do?
One thing. I would have liked to have sent Chrysanthus to spy on them while on this meeting.
Oh, well then, my dear. I suppose we'll have to do some checks here to see what he's...
If you would like to do a stealth check using the Raven stat block, since it is a Raven, and both of you, Lyla and Chauncey, can make perception checks.
Again, passive 18. So just tossing that out there, but if we're active, I don't know that Lyla would have a reason to actively look.
All right, so I will take your 18.
Chauncey has shit all for perception. We know that. Wisdom's his dump. I'm just wondering, can either of the robots make a check instead?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's what you have them for. Well, one of the things that you have them for is detection of enemies.
Okay, awesome. Give me 2 seconds. I need to pull up their stat blocks.
Yes. And then...
Also, did the Raven start following, like, straight away? Like, as soon as we left and decided to go to the mayor?
Sorry, there's like me wanting to say yes, it did, but there's also the part of me that wants to be like, story, plot.
Do whatever makes your heart happy.
Yep.
So
brand new character, blank slate.
Yep. So I think as soon as Chauncey and Lyla got out of sight, he would have sent Chrysanthus to watch after them.
All right. So are you watching through
a window, I guess?
Yeah, are you just letting your familiar soak in and tell you when he comes back, or are you looking through his eyes and listening through his ears? Because you can do that with familiars.
Yep. Option 2.
All right. So do you have a stealth check for Chrysanthus?
So it's
it'll be a roll plus his dex if he's not.
Plus 2. So it's a D20 plus 2.
Yep.
Yeah. Unless he has like the stealth skill, which I don't think Ravens do.
No, he has mimicry skill.
It would be listed under skill.
Proficient.
Nope, it only has proficiency. It says skills, but it's like proficiency, and nope, it only has perception. So it would just be plus the dexterity. So D20 plus 2.
Please, please be nice to me for once in your
Good luck.
life.
With a passive 18, and who knows what the bots rolled.
So 17.
So Lyla notices a very familiar, a shockingly familiar raven sitting at one of the windows, staring intently into the window.
So I'm gonna just cast sleep on the
Chauncey, Chauncey, obviously, I'm not even bothering his check because he gets level 8. He did actually increase his wisdom, so now it's just -1, not -2 anymore.
Okay.
-1.
He took resilient wisdom, so he's actually proficient in wisdom saving.
Ew.
There
Nice.
we
go. And the bots, one of them got 8+. I had double my proficiency bonus to perception checks the robots make. That's what their modifier is. It's 0 plus twice my proficiency bonus, so it's +6.
Nice.
So one of them got a 14 and one of them got a 24 because I rolled an 8 and an 18.
So the one that got a 24 definitely sees the raven.
It's Talipo, and she's just fucking with it. She's just like
at the window, falling at the glass.
Chauncey doesn't care. He probably half thinks A, he doesn't notice himself, and B, like, Talipo's not gonna say shit. She's gonna tease him. What's Lyla doing about it?
I do want to try sleep. I want to try to cast sleep on it.
All right, the ravens have 1 hit point, so I think he needs to make a save. The raven needs to make a save. And if the raven fails, the raven is instantly going to fall asleep because it has 1 hit point.
Nope, there's no save. It's just you can use the die
Oh god.
until the hit points run out. So the raven just falls asleep.
Okay, so
Because the lowest I can roll is
you suddenly go deaf and blind as your familiar falls asleep. I will say, you know that your familiar has not died because you did not feel that connection sever. However, you are aware that because your raven is now unconscious, it cannot see or hear. So you are either deaf and blind, or you pull out, you pull back and regain your sense of sight and hearing, but you are in the bar. I will say you had landed and had enough time in this conversation to hear Mayor Yvonne mention the Liber Logaeth. And then that's when everybody noticed your raven, and Lyla put it to sleep. And that, unfortunately, is actually going to be where we end this week's episode. So join us next week, as I'm sure there's going to be a confrontation about what the hell kind of book we're going after. So join us next week, and I will see the rest of you all in about 5 minutes.